Welcome back to Hoosier Sports Night. We now are very excited to welcome in Mark Kaplan for The Rundown.
Thank you. The biggest game of the week was on Sunday as the 14th-ranked Duke Blue Devils tried to upset the 8th-ranked North Carolina Tar Heels. The Tar Heels came out locked and loaded, and Duke couldn't keep up with the firepower as North Carolina won 86-72. They now move into first place in the ACC. The best game of the week came on Wednesday. It was a Big 12 conference game that featured two of the best players in college basketball as Kevin Durant and the 15th-ranked Texas Longhorns tried to stop AC Law and the 6th-ranked Texas A&M Aggies. Texas was up by 1 when Durant hits this tray ball to put them up by 4 with 30 seconds to go. Now down by 3, 5 seconds to go, the Aggies needed a miracle, and they got one from AC Law, who's clutch as clutch can be as he drills a skyscraper 3 over Durant to send the game into overtime. In overtime, Law leaves us in awe as he hits another 3 to tie the game and sends it into double overtime. But it'd be all Texas from there as they win 98-96. The players of the week goes to Al Thornton from Florida State, who dropped 45 points and had 8 rebounds as they beat Miami 98-90. On Wednesday, the freshman sensation Scotty Good-as-Gold Reynolds scorched the UConn Huskies by scoring 40 points as Villanova won 78-74 to keep its NCAA tournament hopes alive. The upset special was a conference showdown between two Pac-10 teams as the Washington Huskies ripped the second-rate UCLA Bruins apart as they won 61-51. And on Sunday, Creighton beat the 11th-ranked Southern Illinois Salukis to win the Missouri Valley Conference Tournament to give them an automatic bid into the NCAA tournament. Now here are some other teams that have already earned a bid into the NCAA tournament. Penn from the Ivy League, Belmont from the Atlantic Sun, Davidson from the Southern Conference, Eastern Kentucky from the Ohio Valley Conference. For all those looking for a Cinderella, look no further than Winthrop, who won the Big South Conference. I just want to wish everyone a happy March Madness and hope your bracket doesn't get busted. I'm Mark Kaplan, and that was The Rundown.
Thanks, Mark. With postseason basketball on the way, be sure to check in at iustv.com for up-to-date coverage of the Big Ten tournament and opening rounds of the Big Dance. And after spring break, we will be right back here on iustv, keeping you updated on all of the action from Kelvin Sampson and his Hoosier squad.
With increased student ticket prices and most games sold out at IU, students are looking for other alternatives to catch Indiana basketball. Hoosier Sports Night reporter Lauren Griswold has more.
While most Hoosier fans prefer the sights and sounds of Assembly Hall on game day, others prefer the local bars. So what is it about these places that attract so much attention?
You can hang out and drink beer here. You can't drink beer at Assembly Hall.
Any place with a nice TV, like a high-definition TV, always works well.
Many fans enjoy the live action at Assembly Hall. The increase in ticket prices make the bars the best alternative.
I don't because they're too expensive.
I don't have basketball tickets, and because of the increased ticket prices.
The tickets are kind of expensive this year.
So if Assembly Hall is not the place for you on game day, there are other options for you Hoosier fans. Reporting in Bloomington, I'm Lauren Griswold, Hoosier Sports Night.
Some news from high school basketball not involving Eric Gordon, even though he did just win the Noblesville sectional. But anyways, former IU star Damon Bailey recently resigned as the head coach of the Bedford North Lawrence basketball team. Bailey, who in 1990 led the high school to an Indiana State championship, called it quits after 2 seasons of coaching at his alma mater. He cited time constraints as the biggest issue. Between his family and his business, he couldn't commit the amount of time he found necessary to coach basketball. In his 2 seasons at Bedford North Lawrence, Bailey compiled a 23-19 record. The team was recently eliminated in their opening round of the Class 4A sectional by Seymour.
This past weekend, the IU baseball team improved to 3-3 on the season after playing in the AutoZone Classic in Memphis, Tennessee. On Friday, the team routed Eastern Illinois 16-7, breaking the record for the most runs in the Tracy Smith era. The Hoosiers' Evan Crawford went 4 for 6 in the game with 3 runs and 3 RBIs. Keith Haas was 2 for 6 with a 3-run homer. On Saturday, despite 9 hits from the Hoosiers, Memphis was able to get out of some big jams and rally for a 5-3 win. IU freshmen Evan Crawford and Josh Fegley each had 2 hits, and pitcher Tyler Tufts pitched for 5 innings but gave up 4 runs to fall to 1-1 on the season. The Hoosiers came back on Sunday to defeat Northern Iowa 4-2 with the help of Matt Bashor pitching 7 1/3 strong innings. Josh Fegley, Evan Crawford, and Keith Haas all contributed to the Hoosiers' run total, with Haas driving in 2 runs in the victory. The IU baseball team next plays on Tuesday, March 6th at Indiana State before returning home to Sembauer Field on Wednesday for the home opener against Butler.
This past weekend, the IU softball team played in the Southern Classic at the campus of Southern Illinois University in Carbondale. The Hoosiers lost to Western Illinois on Saturday, but were able to defeat Ball State Sunday. Due to the cold weather, IU's 2 other tournament games were canceled. In Saturday's game, Kim Richards and Emily Burgesson both managed to score for IU, but it wasn't enough as the Hoosiers allowed 4 runs from Western Illinois in the top of the 7th inning and lost to the Leathernecks 6-2. However, the score switched on Sunday as IU sophomore Stephanie Pellerito's grand slam capped a 5-run 6th inning, and the Hoosiers rallied to defeat Ball State 6-2. The Hoosiers' next game is on Thursday, March 8th against Georgia Tech in the Adidas Invitational in Clearwater, Florida. Indiana closed out the winter, taking control of the Crimson and Gold Cup Challenge. Victories by the men's and women's track teams at the Indoor Big Ten Championships gave the Hoosiers a 6.5 to 5.5 advantage over the Boilers. The men's team finished just 1/2 point ahead of Purdue in the meet, and did so by finishing 0.03 of a second ahead of the Boilers in the meet's final event, the 4x400 meter relay. The challenge will take a break until April 13th when the baseball team travels to West Lafayette to begin a 3-game series. IU is trying for their 3rd Crimson and Gold Cup championship in the event's 3-year history.
Recently, the 2007 Hoosier football schedule was released, and at first glance, it seems like this could finally be the year the Hoosiers win that elusive 6th game and become bowl eligible. With 7 home games, an easy non-conference schedule, and Michigan and Ohio State absent entirely, this year's schedule poses few, if any, unwinnable games. Some big dates to watch out for: the home opener on September 1st against Indiana State, October 20th for homecoming Penn State and Joe Paterno will visit, and of course the old Oak and Bucket matchup with Purdue on November 17th.
Before we go, let's look at the upcoming week for Hoosier sports. On Tuesday, the men's baseball team will be in Terre Haute playing Indiana State. Then Wednesday, they'll come home to host in-state foe Butler.
On Thursday, the softball team will be competing in the Adidas Invitational with a doubleheader against Georgia Tech and UMass. Also Thursday, the women's swim team will begin the NCAA championships.
On Friday, the men's basketball team will have their first game of the Big Ten tournament. They'll be taking on Illinois or Penn State. The baseball team will be playing in Tallahassee against Florida State, while the softball team continues the Adidas Invitational against Illinois Chicago. Also Friday, the men's and women's track and field teams begin the NCAA Indoor Championships in Fayetteville, Arkansas.
On Saturday, the women's water polo team will be in California facing San Jose State. The men's tennis team will be playing Alabama, and the NCAAs continue for track and field and women's swimming.
And finally, Sunday, the women's water polo team will remain in the Bear Republic taking on UC Davis, and the men's tennis team will be in Clemson taking on the Tigers. Well, Ronan, tournament time's coming up. How excited are you for postseason action? I'm
looking forward to it. Of course, you, Chris, and I will be on the road following Indiana basketball wherever they go. Be sure to check out those online at iustv.com. Hopefully it'll be a nice run to Atlanta.
For Ronan O'Shea, I'm Matt DeBolt. Everyone have a great spring break.